What's up guys, welcome back to another video, and today we are going to be doing a review video on the brand new 2023 Hyundai Sonata N-Line. This is the car my dad just bought. It is absolutely spectacular all around, absolutely beautiful car. We're gonna do a full rundown on it today, a full POV drive, and just kind of go through some of the features on this car and basically go over if this car is really what it says it is. So we're gonna start with the rear end as usual. It's what I always like to start out with. I really like how the taillights start here and they wrap around. Now it took me a while to kind of get used to the line that goes all the way across on the bottom, but I do like how they have this integration here with like almost like the fins that you would see on the top of like a roof line, and then it leads into a nice gloss black spoiler. Obviously you have your rear view camera, Hyundai logo, they put Sonata here. I will say one thing that is missing is an N-line badge. I think there should be an N or an N-line badge somewhere. There isn't. You have your dual quad tips, which I think is absolutely beautiful with the stock diffuser. I think it gives it that aggressive, but not too aggressive feel to it. Sporty-ish, I guess you could say. Don't mind the car being dirty. It's winter, snowy. It's hard to keep it clean in these months, but essentially the rear end gives you that kind of like aggressive but a great daily driver perspective, and it's not too much. The body lines, I mean, the way it curves down here into the entire quarter panel into the side passenger side, it does the same thing on the driver side as well, into your N-line badging here on the side and the front fender. And then you have 19-inch wheels, which I think look absolutely spectacular. You don't have a huge gap in between your fender, which I think is great. It's not sitting too high and it's not sitting too low for a stock car. You have your stock gloss black side skirts, which is a great add-on to this model because it gives it, like I said, that aggressive feel, but it's not too aggressive. Gives it the perfect features that you want. That white and the black gives you that stormtrooper look that a lot of people like. Then you have some vents right here with your beautiful LED headlights. That the LED actually continues all the way up to here, and then it's just a chrome piece that continues around the entire body. And then you have your beautiful black N-line grille, which is so stunning, so huge. And this is where the aggression really starts to come in on this daily driver, is you have your big vents here that the other models don't have. They almost kind of have like a droopy look. They kind of like droop down. Well, this has almost like an M Sport kind of feel to it, and I love it. Like I say, the only thing that's missing on this car is a front lip, but other than that, you don't even really think you need it because you have that aggressive front end with those beautiful vents that are huge, that have that M Sport kind of vent with no fog lights, by the way. And then you have this giant black N-line grille, which kind of ties the entire front end together. And I think it looks absolutely stunning. This car produces 290 horsepower and 311 foot-pounds of torque. It is a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder turbo, so this thing absolutely screams and screws. It's super fast. It is powered by an 8-speed DCT transmission, and this DCT is no joke. When you put this thing in Sport and Sport Plus and use the paddle shifters, it is absolutely insane. I kid you not, for a Hyundai Sonata, this is it right here, let me tell you that. That I cannot deny or say any more about how much this car drives and how well it drives. I mean, it is the ultimate driving experience when it comes to a daily car, and it's absolutely spectacular. So here it is, your 2.5 liter 4-cylinder turbo, and it's clean. This thing only has 700 miles on it. It's practically brand new. And what I will say is, even with these 2.5 liters now, they don't give you a lot of engine space like you used to have. Like, I know in my 2-cylinder GTI, there's so much motor space. There's not a lot of space to really build on. I mean, they take up a lot of the space in this engine bay, and I think it's really cool that they're building upon these motors and they're adding so many different things to it to make it feel more aggressive on the road, and I absolutely love that. Plus, they continue taking my opinions and they're adding German-esque to every car, which is what they need to do. That's what makes every car good. But first thing is we got to get some cinematic rolls because this car just looks too good not to. So the interior of this car is honestly really special. It actually is charcoal gray, so it's like a dark gray, almost like a carbon black is what I want to say it is. And when my dad initially told me that the interior was gray, I was thinking of like this light dingy gray. And then when I saw it in person, it kind of just looked like, I don't know, it just had a mean, aggressive look to it. I mean, you have these sport seats with the Napa leather on the outside, and then in the bucket you have the charcoal gray Alcantara with the N badge on the backrest, which I think is amazing. I do wish it was a one-piece seat, but like I said, it's one of those daily driver cars, so you're gonna have that two-piece, but at least they give you that sport seat, and I think it's absolutely amazing. I mean, literally the features of this car all the way down to just your door handles. I mean, how different the door handles are to other cars, and I like how it ties that chrome piece all the way to here, almost making this piece this long, even though it's only that big. And you have your Bose speaker system, which sounds absolutely stunning. Obviously, all your window features, all your mirror features. Obviously, you don't have a lot of features like the Limited has. So the pricing of this car is about 33 to 35K brand new, but with the Limited, it's the same thing. That's your 1.6 turbo with about 190 horsepower, except they add more features in that car. So that car actually, that has more of those sensors, parking sensors, and all those assist things that you would get in certain cars that you actually do not get in this car. So if you guys are looking for a car like this, just keep in mind that if you want all those extra assists and features and stuff, you're gonna have to go with the slower Limited. But if you don't care about that kind of stuff and you only care about the lane assist, well, you get lane assist, but you also get autopilot in this car, which I thought is really, really cool. I'd rather have the fully loaded, more power, bigger turbo, bigger motor car than have the smaller one and then have all the features. You have all your drive mode selects, which this is a cool feature. So I have all my drive modes, and if I go up to Sport, it turns red and it changes the font. And then if I go up to Sport Plus, it essentially stays in the same route, but it turns off your traction control without you having to turn it off. So in some cars, like mine, you have to actually turn off the traction control when you put it in Sport. So the Sport Plus, which I think is an amazing feature in a lot of cars, and more cars need to do that. This is BMW-esque, because a lot of BMWs have Sport Plus, but a lot of Volkswagens and Audis usually have, like Audis have dynamic and individual mode, while Volkswagen just have Sport, and then you have Sport Sequential, which is pretty cool too. But beside the point, I love the Sport Plus, how it changes the font and everything. I think that looks so sick. You have your dual climate here on the bottom, which I think is really nice. You have these dials right here that turn up and down, and it has the LED screen on it, which a lot of Audis are starting to integrate that. I love that. Then you have these buttons that basically you push up or push down to basically customize your controls, whether you want the heat to be high or you want the heat to be low. This is your if you want it on you, or you want it on your feet, if you want your defroster on. So these are your dual climate options. You have obviously heated seats in the front, and then you have your 10-inch Apple CarPlay and Android Auto infotainment system, which is always mounted up top now. It's what a lot of cars are doing. What I like about this one though is this actually integrates all the way into the corner where your gauges are in your steering wheel. So a lot of cars usually would be missing this, and then it would be separated over here, so it would be just kind of floating there. And this car, it is actually attached to the side. So this is what the Mark 8 GTIs and Golf Rs have. It's more pushed to the side and facing you, instead of just sitting there in the middle and out in space and there's nothing around. I like that feature. I like this, but it's a very responsive radio. The sound system sounds absolutely great. There's really nothing more you can ask for in a Hyundai. A lot of things on this car are, they're what they say they are. So if you look at any reviews online, I'm gonna tell you straight up, this is a believable car to buy. This is an amazing car to drive, amazing car. Interior wise, exterior wise, you're gonna get a lot of looks. You're gonna get a lot of people saying, whoa, what is that thing? This is worth putting in the vlog. Look at the spoiler on that thing. Oh yeah, I don't even know what that is. That is like an old Cadillac. What the heck? All right, let's start driving this thing. So what you're gonna notice first is you're not gonna have a lot of exhaust sound. That is definitely one thing, but you are gonna hear a little bit of the car when I put it in sequential. It's just not gonna be ultra aggressive. I just gotta get out of this parking lot now. You know, this is only my second time I put this on, and it is still awkward. I give it for the people who do car reviews every day and put this stuff on. Because it is awkward on your head. Definitely something to get used to. I haven't done it very often. I mean, it's cool because it gives you one of the best perspectives you could possibly get in a car, but it's so different So we're just gonna naturally drive it and drive for a few minutes, nothing too crazy, just kind of give you guys what a daily driving experience on this car would be like. And then we're gonna essentially have a little bit of fun with her. We don't have a lot of gas, so we're not gonna go too crazy. And it is still brand new, so we don't wanna push her to the limits, but we'll have a little fun with her, show you guys what it's like, and give you guys a little bit of a perspective of what this car's like driving on the road. Because so far, from my dad and me driving it, we absolutely love the driving experience. And for a car of this magnitude, I wouldn't say I'm shocked, but I'm pleasantly surprised. And it's awesome to feel like that for a car, because the Sonata didn't always get a good rep in its day, and I'm happy that it's getting a good rep now because it deserves to. Hyundai and Kia as a whole have really elevated their brand, and I'm happy and I'm ecstatic that they were able to do that, because they didn't get the best rep back then. So as you can tell, this car has a lot of torque, and it doesn't have a lot of turbo lag either, which I appreciate. I think the 2.5 liter 4-cylinder, it almost kind of makes this car feel like a 6-cylinder, and even though it's not. So I think that's a number one thing that I think people can kind of question, that, oh, that's a pretty big body car for a 4-cylinder, like I don't know how it's gonna drive. You'd be surprised. I mean, this car takes off, honestly it feels like a 6-cylinder. And if you did like a quick stage 1 tune on this thing, it would be insanely fast. I mean, it would compete and possibly beat any other V6 turbo on the road. That's how fast it is. And that's what I like about these new cars, is they're making these 4-cylinders so much more powerful with factory tunes and factory turbos that it's almost like you don't need a 6-cylinder anymore. And what I love the most about it is that these 4-cylinders are sounding more aggressive, so you don't feel like you need that aggressive 6-cylinder anymore. A lot of people are saying like, oh, but the 4-cylinders, yeah, they produce power, but they don't sound like a 6-cylinder, and I want that sound. I'm like, yeah, that is true, but they're making these cars sound so aggressive for what they are. It's outstanding. And that is one thing I can appreciate from these cars. So this car is a front wheel drive vehicle, so obviously you're gonna get a little torque steer. It's going to spin tire a little bit if you do hit the gas. That's probably the only downside to it, but not a lot of cars are all-wheel drive these days. I'm not really sure why. Maybe because it's cost effective to do front wheel or rear wheel drive. I think that's the only thing I can think of. But I do think for a front wheel drive car, it does its job on the road. I will say this, the front wheel drive, it almost feels like you don't have it, you know, unless you're really pounding that pedal about 80-90% every single time, you're not really gonna feel like you're a front wheel drive. And for a daily driver car, you're not expecting to buy this car for 33 to 35K and put the pedal down all the time. If you're gonna do that, you're gonna look for more of an actual performance car. This is more of that daily driver, but gives you that performance with that daily driver feel to it. So this is one of those cars where if you want that power, it's there, but you're not gonna be pressing on it all day. So now let's put this car in sport. Let's tap the paddle to like 50% throttle. It is ultra aggressive. I was not prepared for that. But the car is so responsive. So even when you shift gears, as you shift gears, it's extremely responsive. So my car has a lot of turbo lag. So after you shift out of first gear, you just get turbo lag, and it feels like you're bogging down and you have to stay in a high gear to basically continue your boost, to build your boost. This, you don't feel like you have to wait to build boost. This feels a little different. We got people walking their dog. We got to be respectful, boys. Very responsive, as I was saying. So you don't feel like you have to build a lot of boost into your next gear. So essentially what I'm saying is, in my car, if I rip it in first and I shift, it takes a second and then build a boost up, and then it goes. While this car kind of just goes. And you know, a car like what Adam has, the 340 M Sport, that's the same way. And that's the inline 6 turbo. So with that, clearly an inline 6 turbo, you're not going to experience a lot of turbo lag. But you would think a 4-cylinder, you might. This car, not so much. And like I said, it feels like a 6-cylinder. It doesn't feel like a 4-cylinder. And it is very responsive in every shift. And the DCT in this car, especially compared to the last review video I did in the Kia Forte GT, this DCT is a little different. That is for sure. This DCT is definitely a little bit more aggressive. And I like that. Oh my God. It's fast. It hauls. Oh my God. I mean, it is awesome. I'm not even trying to do that. It's just going. It's outstanding. It's like, you know, a lot of these performance cars that you got to build up, like an STI or a GTI or a Golf R, it feels like you have to always mat the gas and you're always on the pedal. And I guess that's what a performance car is meant for. But yet again, I feel like that can get irritating for a daily driver. While this car, it's like, I wasn't even trying to go crazy right there. And it just pulled me to go that. Now we're gonna go to Sport Plus. We're gonna turn our traction control off, which is awesome. That it automatically does that for you. We're gonna downshift. We're gonna open the window a little bit, so you get a little bit of that exhaust sound, even though there's not much to it. And we're spinning tire. I was probably 40% throttle. That's outstanding. That's how much torque this car has, in case you wanted to know. So that's the only downside to the front wheel drive. That's probably the only con I can give you on that. I don't want to go by the water. We're gonna go like this. So do it second gear. There we go. Oh! So aggressive. You can feel the DCT in this car. I love it. No exhaust sound. They didn't give it much of an exhaust sound. Daily driver car, obviously. You put an exhaust in this thing though, it sounds absolutely insane. You get the DSG, DCT farts, which is so cool. But it hauls. And I will say that it hauls. And if you get that sweet spot, so you're not spinning tire, you don't get all that torque steer all the time, then you'll feel the transmission jolt you and stop you. And that feeling is why everybody should buy a DCT. That feeling right there is why you should buy a DCT or a DSG. We'll get a little perspective from this angle, but that red is so cool. I love that it's not really like a red, it's like a fire orange, but I just think it's so cool that it does that. Absolutely love that. This car is a vibe to be in, I will say. I love the vibe of this car. I love the way it drives. I mean, you could take this car to California and back and have no complaints about it. I honestly will say. And I think there's a lot of people who are picky over things out there, and I think in this kind of day and age, with the amount of options and cars you can get, I'd say don't be picky. You see this interior, it is, the more you see it and the more you're around it, it's absolutely outstanding. One of the most beautiful interiors I've ever been a part of, and I've been in $300,000 cars. Oh my God. I mean, that transmission, my Volkswagen doesn't even do that. That is insanity. I mean, my Volkswagen will do that, but it's not doing it right now. So that's all that matters. The Hyundai Sonata N-Line is a win-win, ladies and gentlemen. It's a win-win. And that is why, as you see the welt on my head from the POV strap, that is why I wanted to review this car. And that's why I was so excited to review it, because my dad was hyping this thing up, and I was like, all right, I believe in you. He goes, you got to do a review video on it. I promise you it's going to be worth it. I was like, okay, because he's test driven it before. He's seen it. And then when we drove this car and I saw this car in person for the first time, I went, yeah, I'm doing a review video on that. No question. Because this car needs to be heard. This car needs to be known, and this car needs to be bought more often. I don't see a lot of Sonatas on the road in general, and I definitely don't see any Sonata N-Lines on the road. So, boys, ladies and gentlemen, anybody who's watched this channel. By the way, make sure to go hit that subscribe button, support the channel. I'm going to be doing some more car reviews hopefully in the future. If not, I'm always going to be building cars and having a bunch more content on my GTI, more cars coming to the channel in the future. All that fun stuff. Make sure to subscribe so you're part of all that fun content and the incredible journey that I'm on here making these videos. But if you're out there looking for a car, this is the one you look at. This is the car you immediately look at if this is in your range. This car is outstanding. It is stunning. It drives perfectly. It has everything you want. Under 40 grand. Remember that. This car is under 40 grand and it feels like I could pay 50 for it. It's a great chance to see how much fuel we put in because we were low on gas. So let's see how much this tank fills. Wow, 9.6 gallons, $33.26. That's not bad at all. So there's our range, 418 miles, which is actually really good. We had 140 miles left of range before. So that's not bad. And our fuel economy was 18.7 on this drive today. Average over the last couple of days, I said it was 20.7. So not even that bad, but so you're looking at probably between $35 and $45 to fill your tank on average. And this, the economy is perfect time to tell you the economy. It's 23 city, 33 highway. So it's pretty decent. You get really good highway, not the greatest city. A lot of cars are struggling with that. It's just not easy to get great city mileage, but overall pretty good. You're in between combined, I think is 24 or 23.5. One more pull for the boys. See what we got. Oh my God. I just never thought a car of this magnitude would throw me back the way it does. I love that. All right, we just filled the tank. We gotta go back to drive. And we gotta go back to drive. We gotta save that gas. Gotta save that gas. Gotta save that gas. Can't be wasting all that gas. This car is so fun to drive. Oh, I don't even know how else to explain it. The steering wheel feels nice, grips nice. The car grips so well to the road. It's got decent handling. It's got everything that you want. It's not even a super expensive car either, which is I think the best part of the whole review is that it's just awesome. And then it is worth mentioning that they do not have an N in the Sonatas. It's called the N line, but their N is the N line. So I don't know if they'll ever come out with an N. I know they're discontinuing the Sonata after this year, so I don't know if they're going to create another car and that's similar to this and give it a different name, but give it an N line and an N. But if you want an N Sonata, it's the N line, so just remember that. This car is just, oh, it's just everything you've ever wanted in a daily driver car. So stunning. And there's the GTI. Nice. Voila. Parking brake. Oh, it automatically does it on a hill, which I think is also cool. Other cool feature. And yeah, no, actually right now we're getting 16 miles per gallon. So that's terrible. But that's what happens when you rip in sequential. I mean, that's any car that you rip in sequential, you're going to get bad gas mileage. So always know that. But overall, amazing car. Absolutely stunning. And watch this. It's a little presentation for you. I think that's so cool. Love that. I know it's like new technology. Not everybody loves new technology, but I love that. I'm sorry. I wish my car had that.